Hi, I'm AD Roberts from In War and Peace and Armour, and this is a review from the fantastic Stug III Ausf.G last Alkett production from MiniArt in Ukraine. An in-box review. Altmärkische Kettenwerks was a major manufacturer of armoured vehicles for the Wehrmacht during World War II. The main factory was located in Berlin, Wardy, on the Breitenbachstraße. As more sites were added, the name changed to Altmärkische Kettenwerk. Alkett was founded in 1937 as a subsidiary of Rheinmetall Borsig AG, which in turn was a subsidiary of the government-controlled Reichswerk Hermann Göring. The main facility was sited on the Roterwagen, and the Maschinenbau GmbH plants, which had not been in use since 1928. The site at Breitenbachstraße 33-36, the later Plant 1, had extensively been rebuilt. The administrative headquarters were located to the left of the main entrance. The basement housed a canteen for the employees. To the right of the main entrance, a fire department was located, along with the workshop and an electrical substation for supplying electric power distribution of 6,000 to 30,000 watts behind the administration building, production halls. With the coming of the Second World War, increased demand for armoured fighting vehicles resulted in the marked ramp-up of production at Alkett. Alkett obtained a site for manufacturing directly across the street from their main buildings, located on Breitenbachstraße 1-6. The former site of the Lowenberg factory was built. Production halls 9-12. The test area for foreign tank design was located in Hall 12. Here the engineers tested the T-34 and Sherman tanks to draw conclusions for their own production. Other facilities were located at Breitenbachstraße 72. Altmärkische Kettenwerk performed as designer, manufacturer and partially exclusive license of some of the main armoured fighting vehicles of the Wehrmacht. The company was involved in the development and production and modification of the following vehicles: the Panzerkampfwagen II, the Panzerkampfwagen III Ausf.G H, J and L, the Panzerkampfwagen VIII Maus, Flakpanzer I, Sturmgeschütz III aus C, D, E, F, G, the Wehrmacht's most produced armoured fighting vehicle design, Sturmhaubitze 42, Sturminfanteriegeschütz 33B, Sturmpanzer 6, the Nashorn, the Panzerjäger Renault R35, Jagdpanzer IL-70, Sturmpanzer IV, the Hummel and the Wesp. Sturmgeschütz III was an assault gun produced by Germany in World War II. It was built on a slightly modified Panzer III chassis, replacing the turret with an armoured big superstructure housing a much more larger gun, initially intended as a mobile assault gun for direct fire infantry support. The Sturmgeschütz III was continually modified until it finally became one of the most deadliest tank destroyers used in World War II. Approximately 10,000 Sturmgeschütz III assault guns of various types were produced from 1940 until 1945. More than 75% were built by the Alkett factory. The Ausf.G stood apart from other production versions. It was, in essence, the main production run for the entire Stug series, with more than 8,400 rolling off the line from December 1942 to the end of April 1945, equivalent to the total production of all Panzer IV types combined. This tremendous effort was due to a complete reorganisation by Albert Speer of the production, spread between other manufacturers like MIAG in 1943 and many other suppliers. This was done in order to avoid disruptions caused by the increasingly efficient Allied bombing campaigns. It was, of course, further increased by the gradual replacement of the Panzer III with the Stug III on the same production lines. Simplification and standardization helped to further reduce costs and delays. The main superstructure was simplified. The side sloped armoured boxes were eliminated, and the casemate sides were extended half through the mudguard width. This extra storage allowed to store even more rounds. The engine fighting compartment rear wall was strengthened, the ventilation fan relocated further back, and an applique armour was standardised. Furthermore, the upper MG34 was factory fitted, protected by a square mask. By March 1943, simplification pushed the driver's periscope. Metal return rollers were also required due to the lack of rubber. Rubber-saving road wheels had been already tested briefly in November 1942, but not adopted. By May 1943, Alkett started fitting Schürzen space armoured side skirts, but it was rushed out and the fixations were later proven inadequate at Kursk. This was corrected in March of 1944. 80mm 3.15 inch armour plates were used instead of the applique armour. The main gun was unchanged, but characterised by its cast rounded top blender pot mantlet. After November 1943, post-war, it was called Pighead Sauerkopf or Sauerkopf blender. There was no coaxial mount, and the mantlet was 45 to 50 millimeters, 1.77 to 1.97 inches thick. By June 1944, this mantlet was in short supply. The traditional trapezoid shaped mantlet reappeared alongside. In June 1944, it received a coaxial MG34. Another big change was the adoption of a rotating coupler with periscopes, later replaced by a fixed welding one because of the sudden shortage of ball bearings. These had shot deflectors generalised by February 1944. Zimmerit anti-magnetic coating was factory applied for just a year, from September 1943 to September 1944. In all, Alkett was responsible for delivering 7,500 Stugs, while the MIAG built 2,586. The former also carried out the conversion of the 173 older Panzer IIIs to the Stug IV Ausf.G standard, and 142 were based on the late Panzer III Haus M chassis. The massive bombing raids of November 1943 let Krupp devise a substitute based on their Panzer IV chassis, which was presented and accepted by Hitler in December. This model was known as the Sturmgeschütz IV, and overall 1,140 were built using the modified Stug III superstructure. Until the end of the war, vehicles were repaired and fitted with Panzer IV Coppola, coaxial MG34s were fitted, and some vehicles even had their front superstructure cement plastered for added protection, while saving steel. There was even a Soviet model built on a captured Stug III and Panzer III chassis, chiefly at Stalingrad, called the Su-76I, and armed with the Soviet 76.2mm 3-inch S1 anti-tank gun. With added protection, no less than 201 were delivered by Zavod 37 at Zvezdalesk, including 20 commander variants. Delivery started in the autumn of 1943, but by the fall of 1944 they were withdrawn and used only for training purposes. MiniArt's offering of the Stug III Ausf.G last Alkett production. This model kit is packaged in the usual manner of a cardboard tray with a separate card lid. All of the plastic sprues are provided in a single plastic bag with photo etch decals and clear sprue packaged in their bag on their own. The box artwork, I have to say, I really do love. It's not like a glamorous picture, but it is exactly what it is. A Stug III, fantastic camo work. So you could look at all of the stuff in that one bag and think, wow, you know, this is a recipe for disaster, things are going to be broken. But in all fairness, opening my bag, every single sprue was complete, no damage, no nothing. So I'm not going to go any further on that part. The first sprue that I'm looking at is sprue A, which is a ×2, and it is the wheels, cogs and idler. The detail, especially for the scale of the kit, is second to none. That much I really do mean. There's no visible flash or imperfections, which again, small scaling, you usually find one or two little bits. The drive wheel itself is made up of 3 separate cogs, giving you 2 options for the finish. I have made the next part of this slightly enlarged so that you can see what I mean about the detail. So next is AG, which is another ×2. This is the main parts of the track. Now while playing about with the sprue, especially with the tracks, I've noticed that natural track sag is actually being implemented on the top length of the return track. Again, for just the simple size of the tracks, I think the singular tracks are going to be very difficult to actually get off without breaking. Not impossible, but you'd have to be careful. So we have AE, which is a singular piece. It's the clear sprue, and one thing I just looked at and went, wow, was the bunny ears. Not saying they are the best things I've ever seen in my time, but on such a small scale tank, well, yes it is. So the next sprue, sprue B, is one of the larger sprues, and the very first thing that caught my eye was the hatches. OMG. I know that technology has advanced quite considerably over the years, but the detail on this kit for a 1/72 scale really is quite amazing. So on to sprue DA, and we have the engine covers is the main part, and I have to say again that I'm so impressed with the hatches and the amount of detail around them. So if you are getting this kit for a younger modeler, you will definitely need to have parent help on sprue BA. There is quite a significant amount of very tiny pieces, and cutting them off really needs to be done very carefully. The MG34 is definitely a highlight point for me. So I'm now looking at one of the main structures, and this is the bottom of the hull, and again there's plenty of detail, but I can't get over some of it. It's like tiny little inspection covers, and you can even see the rivets around it. It's unbelievable. Now taking a look at the side panels, you have the drive system on it, that's all moulded in. You have some pretty good detail on the suspension arms. Then we have the Alkett made cast armoured steel mantlet Sauerkopf, or pig's head. You can definitely see where the pig's head Sauerkopf comes from. The moulding, it says, does have a very canny look of a pig's head. So we now have the mudguards. The mudguards, when you're looking top down, you can actually see quite a bit of detail. It's all moulded in to the plastic, but yet, well, it is there and it's very visible, and the whole thing is got amazing detail. The photo etch sheet mainly has the Scherzens and the fittings for them on there. There are one or two other bits like the non-slip flooring, but it's all very good, very well done. Next we have the decal sheet, which has options for 6 different tanks. It all looks quite impressive, and I don't see any problem with them whatsoever. So the first MiniArt painting guide is the Stug III Ausf.G, last Alkett production, 9th Panzer Division, unit number 711, Hohenstaufen, Hungary, Balaton area, spring 1945. MiniArt painting guide number 2, Stug III Ausf.G, last Alkett production, 9th Panzer Division, unit 701, Hohenstaufen, Hungary, Balaton area, spring 1945. MiniArt painting guide number 3, Stug III Ausf.G, last Alkett production, unidentified unit, unit number 815, Germany, Zweibrücken, spring 1945. MiniArt painting guide number 4 of the Stug III Ausf.G, last Alkett production, undefined unit, unit number is 121, Germany, Bitburg, spring 1945. Lastly, for the painting guides, we have MiniArt painting guide number 5, Stug III Ausf.G, last Alkett production, undefined unit, unit number 116, Germany, spring 1945. So down to my final thoughts of this kit from MiniArt. I strongly believe for scale there is not one better. The kit itself is stunning. You know, you look around the different parts on the sprues, and each time you're looking for a blemish or something that doesn't particularly look right, but all you're seeing is this amazing detail. And other than the fact that there's some parts that are very delicate and will require some patience, cutting them out the sprue, attaching them without them breaking. If you use your patience and work on it, I think you're going to find what will be a superb build, or what is a superb. An amazing amount of praise has got to go to MiniArt for their choice in kits and the actual detailing and work that they put into them, especially with everything that Ukraine is going through and the loss of civilians, including unfortunately children. Well, what I have come to realise is just how brave all Ukrainians are and how resilient. My thoughts go out to all of you. My thoughts, love and prayers go out to all of you. Now, I know technically I said that MiniArt are a Ukrainian company. They are. During the invasion of Ukraine by Russians, they had to relocate, as did several other companies, unfortunately. But in my eyes, and I'm sure their own, they are still 100% a Ukrainian company, and I stand shoulder to shoulder with them. My name is A.D. Roberts from In War and Peace, and you have been watching the small inbox review of the fantastic MinArt Stug III Ausf.G, which only leaves me a couple more things to say. One, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please be safe. Much magic to all of you, and of course, happy modelling. And finally, I will see you in the next one.